Hello and welcome to Inverec Solar Energy Pitchside Show. What a performance by New Zealand. It was always going to be, the stakes are going to be high in this one, lot to play for, and they came out top just when it mattered. And to talk us through this wonderful performance, I've got a very, very special guest in the house. Jimmy Neesham joins us alongside Arooj Mumtaz. Jimmy, firstly, congratulations. Really well done. It was quite a comeback of sorts, I would say, by New Zealand, considering the fact that you're missing your main strength players. You know, it was a different team altogether. How does it feel to be on the winning side at the end?
Yeah, it feels great, obviously. You know, you don't want to use those kind of things as an excuse when you come over an international tour. I think every time you play for your country is a great responsibility and a great privilege, and we wanted to compete as best we could, and I think a 2-all draw in the series is probably a fair reflection of how it went overall.
How good an innings was that by Mark Chapman? You on the non-strikers end, you know, getting the best seat in the house, having a look at it. I mean, it was magnificent.
Yeah, it was fantastic. He's been hitting the ball beautifully all tour, really. He's probably been the standout batsman for us, at least. And yeah, it was an interesting, I suppose, situation where with Eid and stuff, we haven't really been training a whole lot over the last 2 or 3 days. So the guys all came up pretty fresh, and yeah, he was hitting the ball fantastically. And yeah, we were under a fair bit of pressure there, I think, after 8 or 9 overs, needing, you know, 11s or 12s with a few wickets down already. It takes a pretty special innings from that sort of situation to get a win, and he deserves every plaudit he gets from that innings.
And New Zealand deserves all the praise as well, Arooj. I mean, it was never easy. I know Jimmy mentioned the fact that it can never be used as an excuse, but it's never easy either when you're coming to a foreign country without your main players. For them to be able to come back and level the series, what do you think it means for the side?
I think it's phenomenal, especially to do what New Zealand did today in a high-pressure game away from home. And Tom, just like Jimmy's just mentioned, he also mentioned that it's not an excuse, and they had very little prep time, and it was almost adapting on the go. You felt the batting took slightly longer to adapt. The bowling group came to the party, and then in the final two, let's not forget, even the game which was struck by hailstorm was shaping up to be an interesting one, because that surface was slightly slow and different. It wasn't a 200 surface, so it could have been a very interesting game had that one also played out. But for New Zealand to come from 2-0 down to put up 2 phenomenal games, and today what Mark Chapman did was just like, it was outstanding. The way he struck the ball so cleanly and at will. 104 in a winning cause, and it's important. Runs always matter when they're in the winning cause, right? I mean, we still have a 98 on the other side, but it's 104 that overshadows everything. And then Jimmy 45 at the back end of it, that contribution, I think 121, there was a partnership to come out from 76 for 4. Fantastic.
Well, let's not forget that strike rate. 182 by Mark Chapman. He's been phenomenal this entire series. He's also our hero of the day.
Hero of the match, brought to you by Inverec Solar Energy.
Perhaps the cleanest striking that we've seen in this entire series. Was able to pick length particularly well, using his feet as well, and really tonking all the bowlers all around the park. You've got to say that it was quite a performance, especially at a time when they needed it the most. They lost a couple of wickets at the top, but then to have that kind of performance and deliver under pressure, wow.
Hero of the match, brought to you by Inverec Solar Energy.
Jimmy, you've obviously watched his career closely and seen him evolve as a player and grow as a player. I mean, what makes him special as per you?
Well, I think he's probably one of those players who's, you know, had a bit of extra time playing domestic cricket in New Zealand, and I think he's had that taste of international cricket playing with Hong Kong as well in a prior career before becoming selected for New Zealand. So he knows what international cricket is about, and he's just a really clean striker of a ball. And it's tough being on that, I suppose, that fringe of selection where you get the odd game here and there, and then you have to sit out when the main players come back. So it's been incredibly difficult for him to, I suppose, get a consistent run of matches in the team. So that makes an innings like that today even more impressive. And I think, yeah, unfortunately, he's off to the airport tonight to fly home before the ODI series. So I'm sure.
Any niggles around the team at all?
Yeah, well, we'll see. Gary Stead might go into the change room with a crowbar and see if he can find someone. But yeah, I think it's, you know, it's a great, I suppose, starting point for his career in international cricket, and he certainly has the ability to make it a long career coming off the back of, you know, ball striking like that.
Just on your partnership then, you know, when you were out there, New Zealand had lost a couple of wickets. What was the talk in the middle of the pitch? I mean, how do you go about chasing a big total in these conditions?
Well, I think we've probably been guilty of allowing ourselves to fall too far behind the rate in a few games, and I think you're going to have games every now and then where, you know, you can take bowlers down at the death and really score at that 12, 13, 15 and over rate, but those are rare, and I think, yeah, we wanted to keep up with the rate as best we could once we got that partnership going, and we were sort of discussing whether we, you know, wanted to, you know, peg it back a little bit and take it deeper, but no, we both felt that we were hitting the ball quite well, and it was the better option, I suppose, to try and continue being aggressive and try and keep that run rate down around that 8s and 9s, so that if one of us did get out, then a new batsman had enough of an opportunity to get their eye in before they had to start being aggressive.
Now, you've played the PSL as well. I mean, does it help to have, you know, been familiar with the conditions and knowing what this ground plays like? You've been part of the side. You also know the players really well. It helps to play in a league when you get familiar with the strengths and weaknesses of all the players. Yeah,
absolutely. I think I'm probably easily going to spend more nights in Pakistan than I will in my own bed this year. So certainly getting familiar with the grounds over here. And I think, you know, we're going way back to the scouting meetings and stuff at the start of the tour. There was, I suppose, a lot of questions that I had to answer about different guys that we hadn't seen before. And it does just make you feel good being able to contribute to the group like that and sort of pass on that information. And I suppose that's the silver lining of being able to go around the world and compete in these kind of competitions, is that you can get that knowledge base and bring that back to the Black Caps when you have the opportunity.
What about off the field? I mean, I know there's a bit of an Eid break in between, a lot of players going home. What have you guys been up to? Have you enjoyed yourselves?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a little bit of uncertainty from guys that haven't been to Pakistan before. You don't sort of know what you can do and whether you can go play golf and, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, having, you know, spent the PSL here and knowing, you know, how hospitable the country is, and I've been trying to push guys to get out and get down to, you know, an embassy and get out and play golf and that kind of thing. And the guys have really opened up a lot about it. And, yeah, I'm sure, you know, the guys have enjoyed this tour, you know, as much as any other tour they will internationally. So hopefully we can keep that enjoyment in the group going for the ODIs as well, and hopefully have some more success. Well,
we've got a new learner, Ruj, who's learning some golf as well. Any tips for her at all?
No, give it up. It's frustrating. It's the worst sport in the world. So yeah, do something else.
Give it up. It's frustrating. It's the worst sport in the world.
Very optimistic views coming from Jimmy Neesham there. But I'm not going to keep you here, Jimmy, because I know that you need to go and celebrate today's win. Thank you so much for your thoughts, and all the best for the next tour that's coming up ahead.
Cool. Thank you.
Right, you heard the thoughts of Jimmy Neesham. A fantastic performance overall by New Zealand. I'm sure they're going to be a happy bunch, and they will celebrate, and why not? A closer look at Pakistan after the short break. We'll be joined by Bazid Khan.